Yeah, man!
Hello, my name is Miguel. Today, I'm gonna make for you chicken gizzards brown stew. So this is 1 pound of chicken gizzards, a stalk of scallion, 1 onion and a half, one large size onion and a half, a spring of thyme, about 6 between 8 garlic cloves, piece of ginger, first bend of your finger, your index, half of a Scotch bonnet pepper or a quarter teaspoon, pimento berries, quarter teaspoon, rosemary, about a teaspoon. We're going to use oil for frying, oil, a little bit of oil, that's a pepper, 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, 1 tablespoon of dried basil, you can use any of these herbs fresh, a teaspoon and a half of browning, about a quarter teaspoon of jerk sauce seasoning, that's optional, a teaspoon of soy sauce, and a tablespoon of sea salt, any salt. Visit JamaicaDinners.com for the recipe. First, I want to get these chicken gizzards. So I'm going to prepare the chicken gizzards first. So I'm removing the film covering. This is chicken gizzards. It's imported. Usually comes with, they have to clean out that part right where you see I'm touching. Is a yellow little thing that comes in it where all the food is stored. They clean it out properly. And sometimes there's a lot of fat that's around the chicken's gizzard. They trim off a lot of the fat. You still see a little bit of fat. And in between the gizzards, chicken gizzards is still not so clean. I am going to show you how I would clean chicken gizzards properly. So first, go through and trim off all fats. Just trim off any kind of fat that you might see on it. And that white part, you got to clean it properly. Use a knife and scrape off where the food would be. The chicken's gizzard is aid in digesting the grain that they eat, and roaches and all sort of stuff that the chicken tends to eat. So it kind of break it down. Alright, so you can put the chicken gizzard on the surface and scrape off the brownish thing that you'll see on that white part. I remember when I was a boy and we used to go to the country and they will kill the chicken, the old chicken's body under a bucket and chop his head off. And then the chicken will just shake under the bucket until he dies. And they'll take the chicken and put on soup container. Let me show you this. This is the part where the grain goes, where the chicken stores the food that he eats in the chicken gizzards. Alright, so you gotta look on the gizzard and make sure it's clean because sometimes the stain is still on it. And I consider it muck. Anything that is not chicken gizzard, you gotta clean it off. Because if you don't, you're not gonna get a good eat. So you have to spend the time, clean each single one properly. And this is how you wanna get it white and pretty and clean. We're gonna rinse it with white vinegar and water after we're finished prepping. So get a not sharp knife. You know I don't use sharp knife that much or any at all. A dull knife would be good for something like this. So go through, look on each piece, look for grains and look for muck. Another way that they kill chicken too is they'll hang the chicken upside down, tie his feet. You see a grain? You see that grain? This is a corn grain that's still in it. So for those of you who don't like preparing or just wash, you gotta clean off everything. And they tie the chicken's feet and chop his neck off. Just hold his neck, his head, and just cut his head off. And then he just shake, and blood be just splashing all over the place. Usually it's in a country, in a backyard. So once they do that, chicken drain, they dip the chicken in hot water, just rub the iron over and take off all the. This is what you want the gizzard to be clean. We're going to rinse it next with white vinegar and water. So that's what they do, and then once they dip the chicken in hot water, they then prep it. They cut off the foot first, cut off the neck, because that's separate. Alright, so do what you see me doing. Drip about 3 tablespoons of white vinegar and water, and then kind of rinse off each piece of the chicken gizzard. Each chicken gizzard piece, just rinse it out. I think what they do next is cut the butt, like where the butt is, and split it up next to the stomach and take out the insides. like through the butt. And once they take out all the insides, they save the gizzard, they save the heart. I think that's it. I don't remember anything else. But I know the gizzard, when they cut it and then fold it over, you'll see all this yellow food coming out. And just pluck it out, take out the muck out of the gizzard, and then just pile them up. I'm not so sure what they do next, but I know the part that you see me cleaning off right now, it's a yellow film that's on it. Use a knife, peel it off like you would chicken skin. It don't come off as easy as chicken skin. Do as you see me doing. Hold each chicken gizzard piece. Use your fingers and rub it and make sure it's cleaned properly. The more time you spend on this part, if I'm going to show people what to do, I'm going to show you the ultimate correct thing to do. Some people take shortcuts. Some people do all sorts of different stuff. But if I'm going to influence others, I have to show you the ultimate, the correct thing. It might not be what everybody's doing, but I have to show you the ultimate, the 100%. Some people might use less browning, less seasoning. See, if I'm mixing a drink, I'm going to give you the exact sweetness. And then some people can make it sweeter if they want. They can make it fresher if they want. So my objective in doing this is to, I'm happy the young miss, or whosoever, I'm going to find out her name and put it up, asked me to do this because I want people to have a good experience eating this chicken gizzard. It's an affordable meal. Cooking it takes a little bit long though, I must say, but it has a unique flavor. I'm gonna do the curry, chicken gizzard, curry stew. Look for that too as well. This is the idea. I spoke to you while I was cleaning it, kill time. So once you do that, give it a final rinse with fresh running water. So once you do that, it's finished. I didn't squeeze it just now, I just get rid of the excess water. You know, I'm just cleaning my area with some white vinegar. Next, cut each chicken gizzard in half. Because the gizzard is not that big. So you cut it in half in biteable chunks. Say about ½ inch or so. I'm using a food scissors because it's easier to handle. About this size. You see how the chicken gizzards are pretty and look clean? That's what you want. Alright, so look at this. This meat is a tough meat. It's tough. When I was a child, my mom or dad would fry. When they get these chicken gizzards in the chicken, usually they wrap it up with a chicken neck, chicken heart, and put it in the chicken and liver and stuff like that. What my parents used to do is just they'll fry the little liver, fry the little heart, fry the gizzard, fry the neck, and then they'll give us that to eat, different from dinner, before dinner. And the chicken skin, because my mom never used to cook with chicken skin, so she usually take it off and fry it and give us to eat. So you see me go through and cut each chicken gizzard piece chunks. Now we're gonna start tenderizing. So put to heat. This saucepan is a medium-sized saucepan. I had 2 cups of water. I had 2 more cups, so it's 4 cups in all. In all for this meal, for 1 pound of chicken gizzard, we're going to use 6 cups of water. So now I'm stripping off the skin off a piece of ginger, a ½ inch piece of ginger. Do as you see me doing, and just kind of, well, I'm out of frame, but you get the idea. Just kind of peel off the skin and add it to the water. Peel 2 garlic cloves. I had those as well. So this is a medium-sized saucepan. It's big enough to hold 4 cups of water. The stove's gauge is on 4, medium-low. Use the pan's lid to cover it properly and allow. You gotta watch it because it might overflow. Now, while we waiting for our chicken gizzard to tenderize, it's gonna take a good time. I just wanted it to start. So now I'm gonna start preparing the seasonings. Whenever doing a stew like this, it's best, and you're doing natural cooking, it's best to add the seasonings twice. I'm gonna add the seasoning twice. So you add container 1 and add container 2. Peel the garlic, ginger. Peel the ginger, get off the skin and cut ginger end. Cut off ginger ends. Cut off garlic ends. Cut off any kind of blushes or any brown spots, any spoilage that you might see on the garlic, trim that off. The scallion, remove all dying leaves. Yes, put half the garlic in one container and half in the other container. Remove all dying leaves from the scallion, cut off ends, the root end and the tip. It's a spring of thyme. As for the onion, I just cut it in half. It's easier to handle. And then remove the brown leaf, which is the skin. Just remember now, the first layer of the onion is the strongest, so you just want to remove the brown leaf. I am not going to dice the onions yet because I don't know how long this thing gonna take a good while to cook, maybe 2 hours or so. So I'm not gonna dice the onions yet because I don't want all the nutrient and fumes to escape. I'm just peeling it. If you cannot chop it yet, that would be good too as well. But with the onion, the scallion, not the onion, the scallion at the time, we're gonna rinse it. So rinse it off, make sure it's clean. Put half the onion in one container, half in the other. We're not gonna chop anything yet. We're just gonna prepare them. Alright, so this is my salt. You are going to need 1 tablespoon of salt. This is just half right now. So you use 1 tablespoon, put half in each container. Half of 1 tablespoon in each container. So measure and add 1 tablespoon of dried basil. You can use any of these herbs fresh. Just chop it up fine. So add the herbs, half in each container. Next, why I choose to use rosemary in this meal? Rosemary goes well with red meat. This is a kind of reddish meat, a red part of the chicken. Grind fine, teaspoon of rosemary. If it's fresh, chop it fine, or you can just put a stem in the stew. Measure and add 1/4 teaspoon of dried pimento berries. Put it in container 1. Measure and add 1 tablespoon of parsley, dried parsley. Put half of the 1 tablespoon in each container. This is jerk seasoning. It's optional, you don't have to use it, but in natural cooking it spruces the flavor. If you don't have access to jerk seasoning, you can use A1, those type of things. Anything that you put on steak, you can use like teaspoon or 1/4 teaspoon or 1/2 teaspoon. Put it in container 1. So this is like 1/4 teaspoon. This is our seasonings. Container 1 on top, container 2 on the bottom. This is red pepper. The red pepper I'm going to use instead of Scotch bonnet pepper. It's a good substitute. It's been 10 minutes since we start stewing. It started to foam over, so you gotta watch it in the beginning. Kind of leave the lid kind of slightly open. So you're going to add 2 more cups of water, so get that ready because we have to boil it. 40 minutes. And this is what it looks like. Look how the chicken gizzard just look clean in the pot. You saw the water look clean. Anybody can eat from me. Look at that. It's tough. Still tough. Leave the lid slightly open and allow. Stove's gauge is on 4 medium low. You gotta watch it. So keep it slightly open. Remember, you gotta watch it. It's gonna overflow. So watch it. See how far you can keep it open. You don't want it to overflow every minute and mess your stove up and make some of your stew water come out. You don't want that. You want to gauge it properly. So there's 2 cups of water. I'm just going to put it to boil because you have to add hot water to the stew that's boiling when adding additional water. Alright, so once it comes to a boil, you don't turn it off. 1 hour later, just add, we know it's 2 cups of water that I use in this. So just add the water to the brewing stew. Remember now, keep the lid slightly open. Stove's gauge is on 4 medium low still. 1 hour, 10 minutes. Alright, I know it's tenderized halfway. Now would be a good time to add. See, it's still tough, but it's you can see the fork go through somewhat. So measure and add 1 teaspoon and a half. Once I can get this out. This one is thick. They must have heard me complaining, saying Jamaicans, because they save money, they make it watery. This one is thick, look. I have to beat it. I have to cover it back up and beat it down. And look, it's still difficult to run out. This is how they used to be in the early 90s. And I didn't have it that long either. To say maybe I have it a long time and it got thick. No, I don't know how this one is thick. I think they're starting to making them. This is a teaspoon. Look on your water. See how dark you want it. See, it's dark enough, but I just want it to be a little bit darker. 1 pound chicken gizzard, I would say add 1.5 teaspoons of browning. Notice I had the water and let it boil for about 1 hour or so before I add any seasoning. Because if you add the seasoning early, it's gonna cook it out. And most of it will probably evaporate in the steam. So 1 hour and 10 minutes later would be a good time to add the seasoning 1. So this is scallion. I'm just dicing the scallion fine and adding it to my brewing stew. Now I'm dicing or slicing 1.5 onion. The onion is half. I'm adding the salt and all the herbs, the pimento berries. Remember now, this is seasonings from container 1. Now I'm grinding the garlic. I keep on calling garlic ginger. The garlic to puree or pulp. And adding it to my stew. Measure and add a teaspoon of soy sauce. I was going to say the soy sauce is optional, but if you can add all of these ingredients that I'm giving you, do so. If you don't have the scallion, it's okay. If you don't have the soy sauce, it's okay. Use a pan's lid, cover it, slightly open, stove gauge is on 4, medium low, allow. This is optional as well. This is nutmeg. Grind a pinch and add a pinch of grinded nutmeg. Leave slightly open like this. Stove gauge on 4, allow. 1 hour and 30 minutes later, this is what I'm doing. Stove gauge is on 4, medium low. Use a cooking spoon and stir your pot in. You see some of the water is evaporating through the steam, and in the process tenderizing the chicken gizzard. See the fart go through a little bit easier. You saw that. See, it goes through easy. But to be sure, you can always cut off a little piece. That's what I was going to do right now on it straight, but nah, works. So I'm just allow it. So, but you can cut off a little piece and taste it, and taste how tenderized it is. But this is good. We are on the right track. Add a tablespoon of white vinegar. It's kind of give your stew a little tanginess. Alright, so cover it, slightly open, and allow. Stove gauge on 4, medium, low, and allow. Sea salt. Remember I told you I only used half the tablespoon earlier. So I'm now going to add the other half to container seasoning from container 2. See, I just taste my stew and it felt like it needed additional salt. Now the aroma is kind of building and rising up. I can smell it. 2 hours later, add your thyme stick. We're going to start adding seasonings from container 2. So do as you see me doing and grind the garlic cloves to puree. 4 garlic cloves that's left. Scallion, dice the scallion. Although you see me cut it like this, I'm not touching the blade. Dice or slice the remaining onion. Or you can cut the onion like this. You can use a chopping board and dice and slice all of these seasonings, these vegetables. Add the remaining herbs, salt, and everything else. This is coconut oil. Measure and add a tablespoon of oil. Why do I add the oil? The oil is going to make the gravy smooth when you're mixing it. Red pepper. It's a good substitute for Scotch bonnet pepper. It's just as hot. Alright, so this is my rice. I'm going to be eating it with rice and the water's drying out, so I got to stir it in and turn the rice down so it can steam and finish cooking. Alright, so back to this. Back to our chicken gizzard brown stew. Measure and add a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper. Shredded red pepper. Dried shredded red pepper. This is for international people. Who have access to Scotch bonnet pepper, all you need is half. Pepper. Stir your pot in. Use the pan's lid and cover the pan properly. Now would be a good time to cover it properly. Cover it sealed. The stove gauge is on 4, medium low. Still allow. 2 hours and 10 minutes later. Alright, if you have a small tomato, you can chop it up fine and add it. Now would be a good time to add the tomato. And you can also add a small carrot. Just add the carrot like 10 minutes near to the end. Alright, so this is our stew, chicken gizzard stew. As you see, the stew is building and the gravy is building. Most of the water is take spirit and gone out into the sky and gone in the atmosphere. Most of the water took spirit and gone in the atmosphere. Alright, now you see I took a little piece and I put the fork. It goes through easily. That's what you want. We are on the right track. This is how you want your brown stewed chicken gizzard to look. Look people, just to say, why I don't call everything brown stewed, because in order to categorize it, I have to use the meal's name by its name. So if it's chicken gizzard, I would say chicken gizzard brown stew. If I was to name everything brown stew, it would be difficult for you to find it. Alright, we're going to add some ketchup near to the end, and it's optional as well. And you can add but 2 minutes on the 2 hours and 10 minutes, so it's 2 hours and 12 minutes. This is what it looks like. Alright, I'm going to tell you something. Now that the stews, the gravy build and everything, you can see this obviously finish-ish. You can turn the stove down on low, almost off low, and just let the stew just kind of build itself some more. Just keep it on low and let it simmer for 10 minutes and just let it mature. It's been 10 minutes now since the stove's gauge is on low, almost off low. I just allowed it, and this is what it looks like. Now would be a good time to turn the stove up back on 4 medium low. We're going to finalize this chicken gizzard brown stew. Now would be a good time to remove the thyme sticks. Measure and add quarter cup of ketchup. I would say about 2 tablespoons. This big spoon that I'm using measures quarter cup, so half a quarter cup, or 2 between 3 tablespoons of ketchup. The stew is just right. Look at this gravy, thick and rich. It looks clean. Use the pan's lid, cover it up properly, sealed. The stove's gauge is on 4. Allow. We're gonna finish out now. So it's been 2 hours, 20 minutes, 10 minutes on low. Now 5 minutes later, this is what it looks like. It's been 5 minutes now since we turned it up back on 4 medium low. Just cover it, and it's been 2 hours, 30 minutes, 10 minutes on low, 10 minutes since we turned it back up on 4 medium low. So we have been cooking 2 hours and 30 minutes. Remember now, you don't have to use ketchup, but I would say use the ketchup because the ketchup works. It makes the gravy thicker and it kind of creamify the gravy too. You want to thicken the gravy. Once the gravy starts to stick to the pot's bottom, that's a sign to say it's ready. Some people would say you're finished right now, but I like to get my gravy just right. So once you stir it in and you see it starts to stick to the pan's bottom, that's your sign to say it's finished. Now would be a good time to add the butter. You add a tablespoon of butter, no more than a tablespoon, and just let it creamify. I must say I like the color of the gizzard. It's a nice light color, a light brown color. So we're near the end of this chicken gizzard brown stew. It's a minute between 2 since you turn the stove up on 6 medium high. Just for 2 minutes, just to thicken the gravy and get it just right. Look how pretty that gravy is. Alright, you saw the gravy sticks to the pot's bottom. That's finished, it's ready. Can't be more readier than this. Alright, so this is it. A tip, let the stew sit and set. Let the stew set or mature for between at least 20 minutes to an hour or 3 hours, 4 hours before serving, and then you warm it up back and then serve. The aroma is awesome. It's just hitting me in the face right now. Alright, so cover it and finish until serving. This is chicken gizzard brown stew. Visit JamaicaDinners.com for the recipe. Subscribe, like, share. Cook this meal yourself. Give us feedback. I know you might be saying it's a simple meal, always like cooking gourmet, but follow my steps and you will enjoy it. I'm trying to let you get a good image, a good close-up image of the meal. Just before serving, just take your cooking spoon and stir your pot in, kind of moist up all your chicken gizzard pieces, and take a scoop of this delicious looking chicken gizzard brown stew and lay it on a bed of rice. Subscribe, like, and share Gizzard's brown stew. Let's taste this meal for you. I can assure you it's delicious if you'll take my word for it. Look how pretty and clean this meal looks. You'll never believe it's just a simple, affordable chicken gizzard. The flavor of it is unique. It's near liver, between liver and kidney, I would say. But it has its own flavor. You see how the meat look red? That's what I call red meat. And you see how it tenderized? It's very tenderized. It's not soft. It's soft enough that I can break it up with my finger. See, look. Make sure this is my witness. I showed you it. I break it up with my finger so it's tenderized. So the cooking time works. The cooking time is very efficient or effective. They're both. Just put some mayonnaise. If you put some mayonnaise on it on the side, you will enjoy it. It kind of goes well with mayonnaise. You are not gonna feel upset any at all. Meaning, when I say upset, I mean tummy ache or belly ache. You're not gonna have any of that. Your belly's gonna feel so at ease, your stomach. The ketchup works with it. I would recommend use the ketchup. The gizzard, if you eat the gizzard, this one is gonna make y'all laugh. It's gonna make your gizzard stronger. Because they say that we come from the sea. They say whenever you have hiccups, that's when your gizzard trying to work again. Whenever you have hiccups, that's your gill. We have gill. That's your gill trying to be a part of your life again. But it's true though. I'm not making this up. So if you eat the chicken gizzard, it might make your gill that's in dormancy stronger. The browning, the teaspoon and a half that I use is sufficient. The pepper works. I could have got away with using half a teaspoon. I only used quarter teaspoon. It's very mildly spicy. I would say not even spicy. See how clean the meat looks? Yes, the spiciness is just fine. Children, any child will enjoy this meal. You know something? Children love good meal. A lot of children like when meal cook good. Some of them will probably eat it if they don't have no choice, but them love nice stuff. They'll eat big people food, but it has to be delicious. When I was a child, I used to love liver. I used to like eating liver and rice. Mom used to brown stew it. And I used to enjoy eating the liver and kidney too. I used to enjoy eating kidney and liver growing up as a child. Some people probably used to cook the gizzard back then, but it wasn't popular. Probably the poorest of the poorest people used to cook gizzard, chicken gizzard back then. Alright, so you see that I'm enjoying this meal. The mayonnaise kind of really blends with it nice, I must say. So those of you who like mayonnaise, this would be a good time for you to put some mayonnaise on something. The butter, if you had used the butter, I know it would have spruced the flavor up somewhat and make it even more delicious. But you know I don't use butter. So it's just my choice though. But if you're not against butter, or if you don't use butter plenty, or if you can find organic butter, you can use a tablespoon. It would kind of make the gravy creamy. Here you go, your request, Miss Kelly. I actually had fun making this video. I can't say why it was fun, but it was. Alright, until next time, see ya.
Yeah, man!